Welcome to your dissolving tension mini flow. So again, you're just going to need a block, 2 myofascial release balls, or tennis lacrosse balls can be a nice substitute, and a blanket or a towel. We're going to find a lot of release to the areas we tend to hold tension throughout the day, but also in any kind of workout or exercise program we might do, these areas that tend to get overworked or really tight while we're doing it. So go ahead and come to lay on your back in a supine position, maybe even with the knees bent, feet on the floor. And take a couple of deep breaths just to kind of land into the practice. Maybe it's an inhale through the nose and an audible sigh through the mouth. But feel your body softening, letting go of tension from the day. Just truly trying to embrace this aspect of dissolving tension. Now have all of your props within arm's reach because we're going to be staying on the floor the entire time. But grab your myofascial release balls, 1 in each hand, and we're going to place them in the natural curvature of the lumbar spine and just kind of right next to each other, if not maybe just an inch apart, so they're pretty close, nestled right up against the spine. So what we're wanting to find here is a release for those ropey erector muscles. So if you're not already there, go ahead and bend your knees, feet flat onto the floor, and then press the feet to lift your hips so you can slide the balls right in that natural curvature of the lumbar spine and then lay your weight back on them. So the balls are pretty close to the inside of the body, so right nestled up to the spine. And the balls, especially if you have myofascial release, tennis or lacrosse, are big enough that the spine can just run between them. But if you are worried or if you feel any uncomfortable pressure, just bring them out a little bit, but maybe not any more than an inch or an inch and a half away from each other. And just feel this ropey muscle, the erectors, gently releasing from the compression as you just have to stay here and breathe. And taking nice, deep, relaxing breaths. If you feel safe in your space, maybe even closing the eyes or just softening the gaze so you can really bring that awareness to the body and how this sensation feels for you. And we're just going to move the balls more towards the outside edges. So again, just press the feet to lift your hips and slide the balls out just an inch or two in either direction. So they're more towards the outside edges of the lumbar spine, but you're still in that natural curvature of the low back. Now you may not feel a whole lot of sensation here, and that's okay. We're going to add a little bit. So it might be helpful to take your block with you. So I've got my block in my right hand. Let your right knee come all the way open towards the right. And if the knee doesn't find the floor, that's where placing the block underneath the knee can be nice because you can just let the leg relax. Once you have your right leg set up, let your left knee kind of just follow suit. So all of your weight is leaning over towards the right. And maybe even so much so that there's nothing touching that left ball anymore, but you feel that a nice release through the side on the right. And again, all we have to do here is just stay still and breathe. Allowing your body to relax, even softening through the fingers and the toes. Letting all of the effort go and just allowing the props to do the job for you. And hopefully just feeling tension within the body dissolving a little bit with every breath. So this practice is really helpful to do after a workout or anytime you're feeling just actual stress or tension from work. It's also really nice to do right before bed, as it just kind of prepares the body to start to dial in and get ready for rest. Take a couple more deep breaths here. And remove the ball from the left side if your body was even touching it. And lift your right leg so you can remove the ball underneath the right side. But keep the ball from the right side in your hand. We're going to come to lay all the way on the right side. So you're coming into a side lying position. Now here's where your blanket or your towel might be handy. We'll place that underneath the head. So we're giving that cervical spine that support. Now it might feel really nice too to kind of bring a block between the knees, as it just finds a little bit more levelness through the hips. If that doesn't feel good, feel free to leave the block out and just have your knees stacked as well. But have your knees somewhat in line with the hips or even closer towards being in line with the belly button, so it's really relaxed here. Once you're laying completely on your right side, take this myofascial ball in the left hand. Make a little bit of space in between the back teeth, and you're just going to gently kind of rest the ball right there at the back of the jaw in between the back teeth. Now, instead of letting the elbow drape towards the floor and using your muscles to hold the arm up, I'm going to invite you to extend your elbow up towards the ceiling. So you actually have this skeletal structural alignment to support you. And then let your fingertips just kind of rest there on the temple of your head. So it almost feels effortless to hold the arm up. Now, as we release here through the jaw, it might feel really nice just to stay still with this bit of space between the back teeth as the ball kind of nestles in, and then the weight of the hand and the forearm and the ball are giving us a little bit of feedback or pressure. If you need a little bit more, though, it might be nice just to kind of lower and lift the lower jaw, so we're just kind of massaging in the jaw. Or one of my favorites is to use the thumb and just kind of rock the ball up and down or side to side, just massaging right there in the jaw. So many of us tend to hold tension in the jaw or clench the teeth when we're stressed. And then we don't give it a whole lot of release. So if that resonates with you, this might be something really nice to come back to on times you are feeling really stressed or needing to release some tension. And just keep taking those nice deep breaths. And then slowly release, set the ball off towards the side. And we're just going to open up into a supine twist. So taking this left arm and opening it up behind you as the chest opens towards the sky. And just finding this gentle release and twist throughout the entire spine. And your gaze can stay towards the knees. You can look up towards the sky, or even turn the whole head and rotate through the cervical spine if you bring your gaze to the left hand back behind you. Just take a couple of deep breaths here in this restorative twist. And then slowly remove your props. Take the block out from between the knees if you had that. Remove the blanket and come back to laying flat onto your back with the knees bent and the feet on the floor. And we're going to start from where we began. So again, we're going to place the balls pretty close to each other, maybe just half an inch or an inch apart, right in that ropey erector region. So bridging up through the hips or lifting the hips so you can place the balls right there in that natural curvature of the low back, and then lowering the hips back towards the floor. And take just a couple of breaths here. Hopefully starting to feel a little less tense and a little bit more introspective, or having that inner awareness. Feeling stress dissipate, the body restoring. And take one more breath here. And then just like we did before, we're going to take the balls a couple more inches away from each other. So moving more towards the outside of the low back. Now, this time we'll go to the left. So if you know that you might like a block on the outside of the left knee, go ahead and take that block in the left hand. Let your left knee open as much as it can towards the left side, and then bring the block to meet your knee and where it's at. Once your left leg is connected either with the ground or with the block, let your right leg just kind of lean towards the left as well. So you feel the majority of the weight now on that left ball. And again, just take a couple of deep breaths here. And again, soften through the forehead, through the jaw, the hands and the feet. Trying to soften every aspect of the body. And then remove the ball from underneath the right side. And then lift the left leg just enough that you can remove the ball from the left. And come to lay on your left side. I'm going to turn all the way around so I have my back to you, but you just follow the natural line of the body over towards the left. Might be nice again to have that blanket or towel underneath the side of the left head. And maybe you've got that block in between the knees as well. Once you're laying on your side and you feel pretty comfortable, take the ball in the right hand, create a little bit of space between the back teeth, and let the ball kind of just nestle there. And again, rather than letting the elbow cave in and having to muscularly support yourself there, let's find that skeletal alignment with the elbow stacking up. So you've got the forearm resting right there in the shoulder. And then if it feels nice, you might just extend your fingertips to rest on the temple. Take a moment just to kind of get into that position. And maybe you stay completely still, or it might be nice maybe just to open and close the bottom jaw. Or maybe just use your thumb to kind of move the ball up and down or side to side, just to massage this whole jaw region. And take these nice deep breaths. And then slowly start to let that go. Set the ball off onto the floor, and then just gently open into that supine twist as you reach your right arm back behind you And again, feel free to set yourself up in any way that feels really supportive. You can move the block if you like. You can have the head rotated, whatever orientation feels the most inviting. I invite you just to listen to your body and adjust accordingly so it feels really restorative, really helpful and nourishing. And then slowly remove whatever prop you may have had between the knees or outside the knees. Come back to laying on your left side, bringing your right hand in front of your chest, and use your right hand to gently push yourself up to come into a seated position. Once you're seated, maybe roll the shoulders a couple of times. Maybe half circle through the neck might feel really nice. But just take a moment to notice how you feel now versus when you first arrived on your mat. Hopefully a little less tense and a little bit more restored through body and mind. Thank you so much for sharing your practice time with me. And until next time, be well.